The next message I saw first made me rub my eyes. I saw something that made my brain just pause. Victor wasn't just cheating. It wasn't just different women. No. There was man too. His best friend, Dan. The same Dan he always said he was going to see. His best man at our wedding. Babe, it's just boys' time. Babe, you won't understand. I understand now. Very clearly. The messages between them, the closeness, the kind of conversation showed the two men were dating. Yes, it's what you are thinking. Everything started making sense. All those weekends, all those late nights. I just sat there and said, Joy, you didn't marry a man. You married a full-time secret. I even tapped my head small because at that point, I was checking if I was still in reality. This must be a dream, I whispered, but the phone in my hand said, no, my dear. Welcome to reality. My hand started moving fast, forwarding messages, screenshots, pictures, anything I could grab. Because something told me, you will need evidence. At that point, I didn't even know what I was feeling. Should I scream? Should I cry? Or should I just disappear? I looked at Victor, sleeping peacefully, as if his life was not scattered across this phone. I felt like waking him up with a hot slap. And me? I didn't sleep. I just sat there, watching the man I married and wondering who he really was. Morning came, but it didn't bring peace. It brought anger, hot anger. Victor woke up, stretching like someone who had a good night's sleep. Meanwhile, me, I had lived 10 years in one night. I stood in front of him, phone in my hand, tears in my eyes, and I said, Victor, who is Tunimam? So you have children with another woman? At first, he looked confused. Then he saw the phone and his face changed. Not guilt, anger, sharp anger. How dare you touch my phone? He shouted. I shouted back at him, answer the damn question. So it's not about what's inside the phone, but the fact that I opened it. Really? How dare you invade my privacy? He yelled again. I just laughed. I laughed because at that point, it was either laugh or lose my mind. Your privacy, I said. So your secrets are more important than your marriage? At this point, everything escalated. Voices got louder. Emotions got heavier. And in that moment, Victor lost control. He struck me hard on my face, pushed me to the ground. Everything happened so fast. The room spun, I fell, and for a moment, I couldn't even understand what was happening. All I could remember is shouting, my stomach. Victor froze, as if he suddenly realized what he had done. Victor called, panic entering his voice, because as I lay there, my tummy was hurting so bad. One thought became very clear in my mind. This is the end. Not of my life, but of this marriage. That moment, that very moment, was the last straw. The one that finally broke everything. Because no matter how much I tried to ignore the signs, no matter how much I tried to endure, some lines should never be crossed. And Victor had crossed all of them.
Where is that wicked man? Let me tear him apart!
That was Zina. She was screaming as she stormed into the hospital. My Zina, my warrior and supportive friend. The only person in my life who could be angry enough for both of us. Well, the incident at home that morning landed me in the hospital. Because when the pain started, it didn't stop. And when Victor saw what was happening, I was rushed to the hospital. Nurses moving fast, doctors talking in serious tones. I just lay there, fighting to stay conscious. And then I heard it, a voice, soft but heavy. Madam, you were pregnant. 1 month pregnant. My heart stopped. Pregnant? Me? I didn't even know. Trying to understand, trying to catch up. But the next words, they broke something deep inside me. We're sorry, we couldn't save the baby. I just stared. Then, silent tears. Because how do you mourn something you didn't even know you had? Tears rolled down slowly, not loud, just quiet pain, the kind that sits in your chest and refuses to leave. Zina was in the hospital with me. Zina held my hand tightly, as if she was holding herself back from doing something crazy. I will deal with him, she said to clench teeth. And this time, I will not warn him. I have tolerated him a lot. Zina was ready. If anger was a person, it would be standing beside me. But me? I was calm, because something inside me had changed. Something serious and dangerous. Then guess who showed up? My supposed husband, of course. Carrying gifts, plenty gifts, as if he was coming for a birthday party. Money bouquet, designer bags, expensive hair, even check. I looked at him and said in my mind, wow, so this is the price of my pain? Zina nearly flew from her chair. Don't worry, I whispered. Relax. She squeezed my hand slightly. That was our signal, because suddenly we understood each other without talking. Victor came closer, face full of fake concern. Joey, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I didn't mean for all of this to happen. Mistake? So now we are calling it mistake? I looked at him, calm, quiet, and I said softly, it's okay. I understand. Zina almost choked, because even me, I surprised myself. Victor relaxed immediately. You see, men, give them small forgiveness. They will sit down comfortably. He started talking, explaining, promising. Meanwhile, Zina and I were planning. She stayed with me in the hospital for 4 days. Right there, silently, we planned something. Because this time, this was not about crying and begging and hoping he would change. No, because I, Joy, could take a lot. I endured insults. I endured disrespect and lie. But this extreme violence and losing a child? No, this is where the story changes. What did they say about a woman scorned? I was no longer the quiet wife and the one making excuses. It was time to get messy. Victor had no idea what was coming.